Libéré Bikatika, libéré l'indépendance. Le pater est fatigué, oh, foutez-lui la paix. Libéré Bikatika, libéré l'indépendance. Le pacho est gaïa, oh, foutez-lui la paix.
My dear compatriots, as I speak to you right now, we are living in the end times of the dictatorial regime of Paul Biya. At 82 years old, with 52 years of active duties at the highest sphere of state institutions where he has been president for the past 33 years, Paul Biya is the incarnation of the worst nightmare that the people of Cameroon would ever want to relive. The age of Paul Biya is not the only factor that leads us to anticipate the imminent end of the Biya regime. Beyond his age, Paul Biya and his so-called creatures have neither consideration nor respect for the people of the great nation of Cameroon. Since his ascension to power in 1982, Biya and members of his regime have not ceased to trample on the basic rights and freedom of Cameroonians. My dear brothers and sisters, with all honesty, can we from the depth of our minds agree that Paul Biya represents the kind of president that we, as a nation of wise and intelligent men and women, deserve? How is it possible that at the moment when our brave soldiers are fighting tooth and nail to protect our territorial integrity against the dastardly attacks of Boko Haram terrorists, Paul Biya, who is supposed to be their commander-in-chief, instead has decided to offer himself the luxury of a sunny vacation in the faraway cities of Europe? How can we comfort all these families of the men and women of the Cameroonian army that, like the families of the young Captain Bene Matute and Lieutenant Duncan, have sacrificed their very best for the nation, wherein Biya is unable to find a decent place where he can spend his vacation in times of crisis like the one that has been imposed upon our soldiers by the terrorists of Boko Haram? Do we all realize that Captain Matute, whose life was sacrificed for the protection of ours, at the age of 33 years, had in his whole lifetime known only one man as president of Cameroon? Of him, we can affirm with all certainty that he was a bright star that rose and fell under the tenebrous skies of the dictatorial regime of Paul Biya. To him and other Cameroonian martyrs who preceded him in the long journey of the struggle for the respect of the dignity of our people, we make a solemn vow that we will not slumber. We will never abandon that glorious struggle whose beaten path has been burnished with the red blood of freedom from the sacrifice of their lives. While it is reasonable that at the age of 82, Biya may deserve more vacation time than work time, why can't not he find a place in Cameroon where he could take his vacation and still be close to our brave soldiers? The absence of a resort area in Cameroon that can accommodate Biya's expectation is a perfect demonstration of the failure of the regime for the past 33 years. In 33 years, couldn't Biya have developed Cameroon into an El Dorado, considering the fact that Cameroon is rich in everything that is required to develop an earthly paradise? My dear compatriots, would it be wise and intelligent for us to accept that Biya decides who should be his successor as next president of Cameroon? If in 33 years his decisions have mostly been disastrous for the nation, what then should make us entrust him with this very sensitive task of choosing the next leader of our great nation? The situation is even more alarming when we take an incisive look into the fabric of the composition of his henchmen. Can we trust people like Famendongo, an example of a man who admits to being a creature of Paul Biya, with the task of leading our beloved and great nation? Talking about Famendongo, all of us have witnessed the arrogance with which he responded to the question of why he replaced the names of some Cameroonians from the official list of candidates admitted into IRIC, which he had signed. To the journalist of the newspaper Le Jour, he said without shame, I quote, "I sign and I take responsibility." To Famandongo, an eminent creature of Paul Biya, I advise to resign immediately, for this is the only way to take responsibility for your stupidity. Are those whose names were deleted less Cameroonian than those with whom they were replaced? With the Biya regime, we live a double standard Cameroon. On the one hand, there is the Cameroon of the privileged by default of birth, who despite their incompetence and laxity would always be given a place under the sun. And on the other hand, there is the Cameroon of the less fortunate by default of birth, who despite their great skills and hard work have no chance of ever getting a place under the sun. The recent IRIC scandal is only a tip of the iceberg. Famandongo, in all his depravity, shamelessly brags about taking responsibility for the discrimination of the regime against the people of Cameroon because he believes that nothing can happen to him. Discrimination against defenseless Cameroonians is not a new phenomenon to Biya and his cronies. My fellow countrymen, the time has come and is now when we have to take into our hands the responsibilities of our destiny and that of Cameroon. Consequently, we appeal to the opposition, if at all there is any credible opposition in Cameroon, to break off from any compromising with the regime by resigning from all institutions serving a platform for the perpetuation of Biya's cancerous despotism. Resign and unite with the people of Cameroon, so that together we will fight for freedom, equity, and social justice, for which was spilled the red blood of freedom of generations of martyrs for the struggle of the total emancipation of our people. God bless Cameroon and the people of Cameroon. La luta continua.